Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Morgan Crossman, and I'm the Executive Director of Building Bright Futures, which is Vermont's Early Childhood State Advisory Council network. And I am really excited to be here today to talk about a once-in-a-century federal investment in early childhood that Congress is currently considering and thinking about what it means for kids and families in the state of Vermont. So I want to start by sharing just a little bit about Building Bright Futures. Our network is named in state statute as the primary advisor to the governor and the legislature on the well-being of children prenatal to age 8 and their families in Vermont. And a key role we have is to hold the vision and strategic plan for Vermont's early childhood system. And that vision for our system is to be an integrated continuum of comprehensive, high-quality services that's equitable, accessible, and will improve outcomes for each and every Vermont child in the prenatal period through age 8 and their families. Over the last couple of months, BBF has been closely monitoring the reconciliation bill as it relates to childcare and universal pre-K. And today, we're excited to say that that bill passed in the House of Representatives, which marks a significant milestone. And while we still need to have this bill be considered and voted on in the Senate, today, representatives, including Congressman Welch, affirmed the importance of moving forward with this historic proposal to invest in children and families and early childhood educators that are doing this critical work. A key responsibility that BBF has is to ensure that our state leaders have an understanding of the current status of that bill, what it means in the context of the infrastructure and the programs that we're currently operating in the state of Vermont, identifying the data they need to inform decision-making, and bringing partners together to ask important questions on how we're moving towards the vision we've articulated. What's amazing is that Vermont's leaders have expressed great enthusiasm and interest in understanding the proposal and determining on how to capitalize on this opportunity to move forward Vermont's early childhood vision. So let's just take one moment to celebrate Vermont's existing accomplishments. Vermont has a longstanding commitment to children and families, and we've made incremental change over time. And this historic federal legislation would allow us to realize and execute the overall vision we've articulated. And there are a range of initiatives that are already underway, most recently through Act 45. So our legislature has committed to kids and families by identifying the need for a systems analysis and contracting with national experts to examine the systems that are currently in place to govern and administer Vermont's childcare and early childhood education programs. And paired with that is a finance study to examine what the cost of high quality childcare is and high quality early childhood education and how to sustainably fund it. And in Vermont, we've also led the way nationally through Act 166, which provides universal mixed delivery pre-K, and that's thanks to strong public and private partnerships. Finally, as I mentioned earlier, we have strong vision and strategy that's already articulated in Vermont's Early Childhood Action Plan that we call the VCAP. And all of this work is really well positioning Vermont to uniquely leverage this once-in-a-century federal investment. Not only does this bill propose historic investments in childcare and universal pre-K programs, but there are other critical investments that impact kids and families. Some of those include expansions of school nutrition programs, funding for housing services, continued expansions of the child tax credit and earned income tax credit, an extension of postpartum Medicaid coverage and moving from 60 days to 12 months, and a 4-week paid family and medical leave program. So what does this bill mean for Vermont's kids and families as we think about it in the context of childcare and pre-K? As it relates to childcare, the bill provides 6 years of funding to affirm many of Vermont's existing goals. So the bill is focusing on family affordability and ensuring that no family pays more than 7% of their income on childcare copays. It expands the availability and quality of childcare. And importantly, it's recognizing Head Start as a model of the highest quality of care with supportive wraparound services for kids and families. And both within the childcare part and the pre-K component of this bill, it's recognizing the value of our early childhood education workforce and determining how to require better compensation for our early childhood educators. So in the pre-K section, again, we're seeing a 6-year investment that would allow us to address those challenges that we know to be true in terms of equitable access for kids and families, and continue to be a national leader. And this part outlines that universal access would mean providing all 3 and 4-year-olds with about 30 hours a week of universal pre-kindergarten education during the school year. So again, this section is modeled after Head Start, with 1,020 annual hours of service, which would mean we'd go from what we currently have in the state of Vermont at 10 hours a week to about 30 hours a week of pre-K. And again, it's important to note that Vermont currently provides universal pre-K to 3, 4, and 5-year-olds not yet eligible for kindergarten. Another component of the pre-K section is a requirement to continue with Vermont's mixed delivery system, which we know to be critical, as over 65% of our state's pre-K programs are operating in private settings. And then finally, again, a focus on early childhood education workforce. And we know and have heard consistently that we are still in a crisis moment as we think about how we support our workforce. So I want to take a minute to pause and recognize and thank our early childhood workforce. And that includes every individual in the state of Vermont that's currently working with or educating our young kids and families. We recognize that you are operating in a pandemic, that you're operating in a mental health crisis and a workforce crisis, and are still doing such an incredible job of supporting, caring for, and educating our young kids. It's really important that we as a state address the needs of our workforce and of our kids and families who are still operating in a crisis, while also importantly leveraging this historical opportunity to build the early childhood system that works for kids and families, and each of you that are working so tirelessly to support them. So again, our leaders in Vermont are really well positioned to continually monitor this legislation as it moves through the Senate, and collaborate with early childhood stakeholders across the state to ensure that we really understand how to best use this investment to support kids and families. It's really critical that partners come together during the next couple of months to ready our state for this potential investment, to troubleshoot any of the potential barriers we might anticipate, and to make sure that our system guarantees equitable access for each and every child. And I am honored to support this effort in the state of Vermont as we think about our early childhood system, and to work alongside all of you to make it happen. Moving forward, you can find the most up-to-date information on the Build Back Better plan at vermontkidsdata.org under policy, and then again under Build Back Better advisement. We're happy to support the field in this way and are excited to see how we can work together to make a difference in the lives of kids and families and ensure that all children have a healthy start. Thank you.